Okay, this is Calicat the Calicatster, and this is a review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 3. It's not the puppet one. They shuffled him around. It's actually Human Best Friend. The episode, well, in a nutshell, they basically are spoofing the Star Wars attraction hotel, basically. And they're spoofing a Star Trek convention, which is also funny. Uh, After the horror episode, they need to be manically do a comedy episode. So you have the crew going to a pleasure planet, and the actor playing the host is real familiar. And yeah, I'm not gonna look it up, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so they go to this pleasure planet where you get inebriated when you land there. It's very similar to a TOS episode where they did something like that. A couple of them actually. It's not necessarily the Misfit Toys planet from Chimera, kind of. It's just but an early version of it, 100 years earlier, over 100 years earlier, and we have yeah. Yeah, this is the episode where they also reference Kirk and Spock, that Spirk thing that they are calling it now. It should be called KS. It's not Spirk. It's KS. It has to be Kirk and Spock. In shipping. Sorry. Spock is apparently thinking he's hallucinating Kirk on the planet. I mean, Scotty and Ortegas. Ortegas didn't die in the last episode. It's shuffled around. She didn't die. It was a hallucination in that other episode. So there's kind of ties in. So I see why they put this one next. But it is the one after the puppet one. But yeah, so they so they do this thing with Ortegas, and if you're Scotty and Ortegas are doing this love-hate thing for like 3 episodes, and you figure like, okay, they're gonna become buddies on the ship, sort of a KS thing, a shipping thing. I don't know whether the two actors actually had chemistry on set or hanging out. Probably. Not even sure what their actual real names are, but yes. Sure. Yeah, we have Star Trek thing. They're on the planet trying to figure out something that's going on. There's a Dragon Ball. There's a bomb, a Dragon Ball and a bomb. They reference Dragon Ball, which is funny. Maybe the Dragon Ball is the bomb. I don't know. There's she's got a cast on her arm at one point, but it's like make believe, I guess. There's a bunch of other. Yeah, they missed the shuttle keys. They gotta go for the keys. They do the other thing. I'm not going to compare this to Starship Locations episodes because it obviously is. So yeah, there's no point. So yeah, this is going to be a really brief review this time. It has reasons for being what it is. I think it kind of works. Pleasure Planet episode. We have Uhura that they have. She's all done up like she's getting high in a disco planet thing. A little bit offensive, but okay, fine. But it's funny that they have the commander ladies singing that Together song in an alien language at one point, and they set that up so it looks like, it looks like the Star Wars experience, that Star Wars, that awful Star Cruiser hotel. They're making fun of that in this episode. That's the main thing. They're making fun of the Star Wars Star Cruiser hotel. I know of 2 people that have been on that. One person hated it. The other person was like, "Oh, I liked it because it was a honeymoon thing." Well, that's different. Okay. So the other person, I was like, "Ah, yeah," but 2 people. I never went on the Star Cruiser hotel. They make fun of the singing lady. They do that for a couple of the river is along tonight, living in love together. Yeah, Scotty's dressed like a Magatu at one point in a costume, so we know he's a furry. And so we have yeah. There's like a peace conference which is pulled forward. Not a very long episode. It's about the same length as a TNG episode. It's actually under 50 minutes. Yeah, it was clearly meant to be aired probably a little earlier than the other ones. It was probably meant to be the second one, but they did the horror one as the second one. They moved the puppet one 2 episodes down. That later. Um, Usually the mid-season episode is usually like 5, and they do something else. But yeah, no, they shuffled it around. This episode, unlike the last two, unlike the pilot and the other one, is going to be probably, yeah, and probably other things. Uh, yeah, it's going to be out of order slightly. So, yeah, so, hmm, you know, so yeah. Then they have to figure out the peace conference thing. They have to solve that. They have to do there's a bomb on the station thing. It blows off one of Scotty's fingers. They beam him back and they blow off his finger, which is not a cheeky, messed up reference to James Doohan, who was actually missing a finger. In the whole Star Trek show, he's missing a finger. The original Scotty was missing a finger. It was from an accident. It wasn't during the war. It wasn't during World War II. It was an accident. He was, I think he was in World War II, but it was like a motorcycle accident or something. So he's actually missing a finger. And they're not paying homage to that. I'm sure they didn't know. And in Star Trek, they can just put limbs back on, and fix them. But in this, I guess they put it back on. Yeah, that's odd. I wonder if they even knew that James Doohan was actually missing a finger. Because that would be deep lore if they did that. That said, oh, this is the reason you're missing a finger in the show. I don't think they were thinking that, though. I don't think they were thinking that. Yeah. Yeah, you knew Scotty and Ortegas were gonna the love-hate thing was a little too obvious. They still don't know how to do relationships in Star Trek. You can tell that the different actors are probably shagging behind the scenes. But yeah, yeah, they're it's an opposites thing, I guess. Scotty reveals that he has several siblings. Ortegas has siblings, stuff like that. There were moments that were too quiet in the movie, in the show, the episode. There were moments like that. They've done that again, but at least the line of sight was not that bad. And yeah, there was a passable line of sight, whoever directed it. I didn't look to see who directed it. Yeah, and so they understood the characters and motivations and stuff. It doesn't matter. You can put in comments, so and so directed it, don't you know? I don't. It doesn't matter. I don't need to go into all the directors of all the episodes. So yeah, that is kind of the review of this episode. Yeah. Yeah, and also preliminary note. Yes, CalCat will be on hand at GalaxyCon 2026. I'm not on the roll in the schedule, but I'm gonna be there. So, anyway, excellent. So yeah, that's yeah, that'll be awesome. So that's it. Yeah, that's the review of this episode of Human Best Friend. Except to say that also they did a Kirk Spock thing there, and he talks to a plant, and there's a plant joke in there. Yeah, there's a reference to Star Crackers. Yeah, there's a few references in there, but I think mainly they're ripping off. They're making fun of Star Cruiser Hotel. They even have a bingo scene. They're definitely making fun of Star Cruiser. They had the singing lady in the bar. They had the cosplay fight with the hoodlum bad guy ninja dudes. Like when she's got Lon's got a staff. They couldn't use a lightsaber, obviously. But he has a staff. She's like Donatello. And the other thing that makes it like it is that there's a bingo attack scene in which the doctor character, the nurse Chapel, she's in a space bingo scene. There's a space bingo scene in the movie, like at the attraction, and she's in there, and she's like, freaking out, and it's like, and then they attack, because that would make bingo so much more interesting if they just like attack. These witch ladies get up and they're gonna fight the ninjas. Kind of crazy. Hallucination Planet would be a bad idea. You could end up shacking up with people you don't want to shack up with. That wouldn't be a good idea. No, that'd be bad. Um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, yeah. So that was what made it like Star Cruiser Hotel. It's closed now. Star Cruiser Hotel. Also, some of the sets that were from the Picard show were taken down and brought over to Universal, according to the Trek Core main site. And there was a tour there briefly, where they had some of the sets there. I wonder if those claw marks and cow cat like marks were still there. Those weren't production team marks from the game, from the experience. Those were me. I put them there. But yes, and they included, but I didn't get to see that over at Universal. I don't even know why they'd have a version of it at Universal. It's not a Universal attraction. It's Paramount. They should really bring that stuff back. Anyway, so so yeah, that is my review of the film, the episode, comparing it to the Star Cruiser Hotel, which they're making fun of, and conventions, where people get crazy at conventions. This is the convention episode. It's the I don't really. One drawback is that the original. I know it's like, okay, it's like 60 years later, but the original Star Trek did not have a bar and lounge. That's Next Generation. Whenever they show them in a bar and lounge, that's 10 forward. They're kind of hearkening to Next Generation, and they kind of shouldn't be, because Kirk's mess hall wouldn't have had a bar. But yeah, and you could tell that they kind of faked the scene where he's tossing the bottles around. Although they do reference It Is Green from Next Generations. The booze, Scotty gets the booze, it is green. You can tell when they filmed certain scenes at the same time, they were like, okay, we're going to film this and this. And then film this other scene later. You can kind of tell what the green screens are, but that's okay. The wraparound screen. It's mostly a bottle show, though. They're mostly on a planet, and they can cheap on the sets. They can just use basically the corridors of wherever they do the production. They can just use those as the alien hotel. It's kind of clever. Sure, why not? So I'm surprised they're run by the producers and directors over there. In Canada somewhere, I think they film it. In Toronto, I think is where they film this. It would be interesting if Trek Yards went to the sets. They should. They should get to go to the sets. But yeah, but yes, to go to the sets. Yeah, that's it.